That 4 hours a day spending scrolling on various social media sites, that was worth it. Really? When it comes to social media, my message, if you're trying to learn something that's difficult, if you're trying to learn something that's hard, is to just say no. Put down your cell phone, turn off those app notifications, make sure you're not doom scrolling on TikTok or Instagram or any of the social media platforms that are very good at distracting us on a day-to-day basis. The reason why I recommend this is because if you're trying to learn something difficult, it requires a significant amount of your time and attention. Your focus has to be spot on. And as we all know, whenever you go on TikTok or whenever you go on Instagram, that algorithm is extremely good. It's good at keeping you drawn into that platform. You tell yourself, I'm just going to go check, maybe spend about 5 minutes on it, see what's taking place, and next thing you know, 60 minutes has gone by. If you look at your screen time for the day, you probably spend about 3 to 4 hours a day on social media. And that's a massive productivity killer. And that's why I recommend that most people, especially if you're looking to learn how to code or learning how to program, or in general, learning anything that's difficult, is to turn off social media. It's not easy, I know. It's not comfortable, I understand. For a lot of us, it's how we get our news. It's how we get our updates. But it's like what I tell my kids. We all have 24 hours in a day, but that day doesn't look the same for everybody. Some people are fortunate enough to have assistants and have people who are there to make their lives easier, to delegate all their responsibilities too. But guess what? That's not the rest of us. That's not you and I. For the most part, we have to run our own errands. We have to take care of our own responsibilities. So our day is a little bit more compact, a little bit more compressed. We don't have as much time to really devote to learning something very difficult or complex because we have other things that require our attention. And in reality, what I tell my kids is that after 1 year, if you look back, are you going to remember what you were looking at on Instagram or TikTok? Are you going to be able to reflect and say, that provided a significant amount of value to my life? That 4 hours a day spending scrolling on various social media sites, that was worth it. Really? You and I both know, we all know that scrolling on social media is probably not the best use of your time. Yeah, it's fun, makes us laugh, it picks up our mood, but then we become more reliant on that. We become more dependent on that dopamine effect. And again, that algorithm, those algorithms on the social platforms, they are amazing. Now, if you take back that time, if you take that 1, 2, 3, 4 hours a day that you would spend on social media, and you spend that time learning something new, imagine how good you're going to get within 1 year. That is the secret. That's basically the secret to achieving success as a coder, as a programmer. Putting in the time, putting in the effort, and staying focused, because it's something that a lot of people are not able to do. So if you're able to discipline yourself and do what others can't, then you're going to achieve what others could only dream of. Now, for me in particular, if you look at my YouTube channel, if you look at my various social media sites, you'll notice I can go months without posting something new. And for the most part, I don't even go on those sites on a daily basis. Yeah, I allot myself a little bit of time here and there. But as a daily thing to do on my to-do list, going on social media is not the thing I do. And the reason why I take those breaks is because I know that I want to spend time learning something new. And I know that I have limited time. And again, 24 hours a day from one person to another is going to be different. We all have different responsibilities. We all have different things that take up our time. So it's what you do with your time that's going to make a significant difference. So that's my message to anyone who wants to learn something hard, like developing a WordPress theme. If you want to check out my tutorial on how to do that, definitely do so. If you notice, if you go through my channel, you're going to see I've been doing this for years, developing WordPress themes and helping people understand and learn how to code their own custom theme. And after taking a few months off, I'm back at it. I'm uploading a new video basically almost every single day, sometimes more than one video. And yeah, it's not going to be as entertaining as going on TikTok or going on Instagram, but it's going to provide value to you. It's going to make you understand the process. And that's what I'm trying to teach. I'm trying to teach the process of developing a custom WordPress theme, but not just the code itself. I'm also trying to show a workflow, more than just the PHP and the JavaScript and the CSS. I want to show you my process, how I make myself an efficient programmer. And part of that is, of course, staying focused and staying the course, but it's also about making sure I optimize my workflow, making sure that I can be as productive as possible, using things like aliases, using bash scripting, using keyboard shortcuts. And speaking of that, I gotta do a video on each of these tools that I use, but look at this real quick. Give me 1 second. This is my Razer Torturis Pro. It is my macro keyboard, and I've customized it to make sure that I can easily accomplish a bunch of different tasks. Instead of typing out whole entire commands, push one button, and it's like keyboard shortcuts, but to the next level. But it doesn't stop there because I have this as well. This is my Razer mouse. It's a macro keyboard mouse itself, and it has a whole bunch of buttons on the side. See if you can see that. And I configured that as well in order to optimize my workflow. So that's helpful. Then I have my Kensington trackball over here as well. Now you may look at it and be like, what on earth is that? But let me tell you, it's so much easier to navigate with this huge trackball, and I can customize how these buttons on the side work also. But then it takes a lot of time to learn how to use these tools, how to configure them, how to make sure that it's optimized for what you're working on. And with some of these tools, you could optimize it and you could set up specific profiles. Like I have a VS Code profile. I have a PHP Storm profile. I have an Adobe Premiere Pro profile. Now that gives you a lot of ways to really optimize how you're working with your system. Now you don't need all that, but as a tech person, it's fun having these toys, it's fun having these tools. And they serve a purpose, they have a place, and it's to make my life a little bit easier. You start doing this for over a decade, and your fingers kind of start hurting after a while. That's actually why every now and then, I use this mouse, and I use it on my left hand. That way I can offset or change up which hand I'm using while working on my system. I know, it kind of sounds crazy. It seems unnecessary to use all these tools. But you're going to find over time that you're going to try things out. You're going to see what works for you. And if it works for you, if it makes your life easier, go for it. My goal is to be as productive and efficient as I possibly can. And again, social media is not part of that. Now, I'm not telling you to never go on TikTok. I'm not telling you to never go on Instagram. But make sure you really can control the amount of time you're spending on it and really set your goals on what you're trying to achieve. Because again, our time is limited. Days go by, time goes by. And what happened in the past, we cannot change. We cannot get that time back. Now, you're going to either build up a foundation of negative time, meaning you're going to always fall behind on your goals, or you're going to build up positive time, where you're banking up a foundation of knowledge. You're learning how to do something that's going to really make a difference in your life. And in 1 year from now, you're going to look back and say, you know what? I started that. It was kind of hard. At first, kind of boring, but that's going to be okay when you're sitting on a beach or you're traveling the world, going to destinations that really make an impact on your life. And you'll be the one sharing on social media the experiences that you have. One of my favorite experiences was traveling the entire United States. I drove through 26 states. I went from the East Coast to the West Coast, drove down California, came back the Southern route, came back to New York. And I did that during the summertime, and I did it with my family. And those are memories that I'll never forget. And that experience of meeting different people from different walks of life, that's life-changing. That's a real experience. So again, my message is social media, just say no. Don't do it. Don't dedicate your life to looking on TikTok. Break down your day. Identify what you're going to do with your 24 hours. Ideally, you really structure your time. Now, this is not going to be the blueprint that everybody follows because again, everybody's life is different. But in general, you need about 8 hours of sleep. So that means you only have 16 hours left over? Maybe you're going to school or maybe you're going to work and that takes maybe 30 minutes to an hour each way. So now you're down to possibly about 14 hours a day. You got to eat about 3 meals a day. And let's say it takes you about an hour, to prepare your meal, make your meal, purchase your meal or whatever. Now we're down to 11 hours a day. And you start realizing that as you work your way down, you don't have that much time throughout the day to be wasting on social media. So I'm challenging you. I'm urging you. Take back your time. Focus your attention on what's going to really make a difference in your life. I take breaks. And the reason again is because I'm trying to do something different. But now I'm doing a full court press. And you notice I'm uploading a lot of videos to YouTube. And these are videos that I hope provide you real value. They may not be the most exciting. They may not be the most entertaining, but they're going to be useful and helpful. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and support the channel by purchasing a copy of DevWP. The link will be in the description area. If you have any thoughts, ideas, or suggestions, leave them down below. And as always, thanks for watching and happy coding.